Welcome back, friends. My name is Colleen, and I'm glad you have a chance to come into my kitchen today and cook up a dish with me. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a Monterey chicken spaghetti bake. And with all bakes, pretty much, everything happens up front. You can toss it in the oven, get the kitchen all cleaned up, and then you just have that one pan to worry about, which is such a treat. And I think you're going to enjoy this dish. It comes together quite quickly. You can do things in advance to help yourself out, to make it even quicker. So let me gather up what I need to get started, and we'll get on with this dish. I think I have most of it together. There's a lot of things to remember when you're making a video. You got to remember to turn all the lights on appropriately, and you got to remember to shut your cell phone off so it doesn't ring part way through, and you got to gather everything up, keeping in mind, always, I'm keeping in mind that your time is valuable. And so I try not to go on and on too long, but I also like to make a video that reflects real life. And today I've done a couple of steps ahead. I'm not sure that I needed to, but over here on the stove I've got a pot of water just about set to boil. And as this is a spaghetti bake, we need to put some spaghetti in the pot. We need about a pound of spaghetti. This is 500 grams, so it's more than a pound, so I won't use it quite all, but I'll get it in the pot. And because it is a spaghetti bake and it can be hard to scoop out, I am going to break the spaghetti in half. I know. You shouldn't do that, but it just makes it easier when you go to serve it, so that's what I'm going to do. And so I'll get this in the pot, and then I will turn on the oven while I'm there to 350 degrees, and then we'll get back here and get to work on this. Now I just spent a minute over there at the pot because I wanted to make sure that I had enough salt in the water, because pasta really needs to be salted on its own, and that I stirred it good so that it doesn't all clump together in a big clump, because that's not very pleasant to come across. I'm going to work today with a rotisserie chicken, and I am going to we need about 3 cups, 3 to 4 cups. So I'm thinking I really just need the thighs, and the breasts should give us enough chicken. And then I will use the wings. I'll put the wings and the legs into a container my husband can take in the big truck with him. And so not only that, we'll have leftovers from this bake that I'll put into little tinfoil containers. You've probably heard me talk about that a lot at this time. Then we'll put them into tinfoil containers so we can reheat them for the road. And I'm not going to be particularly gentle about this. I'm just going to get to it. And I'll set aside the parts that we don't need for this project, and I'll deal with them afterwards. But I just wanted to give you an idea how quickly this can go. And there we go. I think I've got most of the breast meat off. Now I'm just going to grab these 2 thighs. Thigh meat off here. You do not need all that skin. So that's one. And here's the other one. Now, we're going to, we're going to have plenty of meat. So I am going to just put this aside. And even without washing my hands, I'm just going to run through this and chop it up into bite-sized pieces. Although washing my hands might have been a good idea because I can feel my knife wanting to slip through my greasy fingers. Get these. You could also just use chicken breasts for this, or just thigh meat if you wanted to just throw your chicken breasts into roast or into the Instant Pot just to cook them through. I found that if I take chicken breasts right out of the freezer into the Instant Pot and I set it for 20 minutes, it cooks the chicken breasts perfectly and they come out nice and succulent and delicious. So I don't know if that's a helpful tip or not. Now, there we go. This is looking pretty good. In fact, this may be more than 4 cups. Now I'm going to transfer this to this big bowl because we've got some mixing to do. And you can tell this recipe is fairly versatile. You can, use different kinds of chicken meat. I bet it'd be good with turkey too that was left over. And you don't have to fuss about the amounts so much. I'm just going to wash my hands and we'll come back and get busy. Well, there we go. Got that ready. Now back here on my counter, I have a bag. It was 500 grams, so that's around 16 ounces of spinach that was frozen. Use frozen. You can usually find it quite inexpensively, and you don't have to go through all the effort to make sure that it's clean and pick through the leaves and then cook the leaves, and you don't have to do all that. So what I've done with it is I defrosted it, and then I ran it through my strainer. It strained out as much of the moisture as I could, and then I'm just patting the rest dry with a kitchen towel. Now I'm going to lay it out here and I'm just going to chop this up because it's not that pleasant to get a big chunk of spinach when you're having a bake like this. So let's chop it up. This is a colorful dish with the spinach in it. I'm wondering how y'all made out for Halloween. We ended up with 2 little kids. That was it. We made bags for 40 and we ended up with 2. Last year we had 38, so we wonder where all the kids went. Okay, that's going to go in there as well. I need to add 5 cloves of garlic. Now you can grate these on a microplane like I'm doing, or you can run them through your little garlic press. And I'm using 5. Did I say that? 5. And this really adds a depth of flavor to the dish. Not just because it's fresh garlic, but just having that garlic in there, because this is a pretty simple dish overall. And there we go. Now I've got these little ends, and I'm just going to coarsely chop them so that they can go in there. And there we go. Seems like a lot of garlic, but this is quite a good sized dish. Now, you can definitely make this dish smaller by cutting it in half. You can do that. Now we're going to get into the heart of it. This is one of those old-fashioned dishes that took cream of soup. This is cream of chicken soup, which makes sense because we're having a Monterey chicken bake. So it's good to have chicken multiplied like different ways in the dish. So we'll be using that too. This makes a really creamy dressing. So I have here 2 cups of sour cream, and I'm using good 14% sour cream. And then we have 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. And this one happens to be a low-fat chicken soup. But you can get whatever kind or if you have it already in your cupboard, don't go buy something fancy for it. Just use what you have. Now I have to wash that because I got my guppy hands on it. And in we go. Look at that. Now one of these days I'm going to make a video for you of ways that we can make a cream base for soups using ingredients that, well, things that we know what's in them is the bottom line to that. Get rid of the garbage over here. I don't think I need this anymore. I'm getting rid of that too. Now I'm going to stir this up. Not with this. It's a little too wimpy. I'm going to get out the big spoon, old wooden spoon, and I'm going to mix this about halfway because I want to add some other ingredients here. There we go. Now I've got cheese. I've got cheese. This is mozzarella because I couldn't find any Monterey Jack in the store today. But Monterey Jack cheese, it's a little sharper. It's aged longer. So if you can't find Monterey Jack, mozzarella will work. So I'm going to put about half of this in here. And I'm going to save the other half for the top. And here's probably an unexpected ingredient. This is crispy fried onions. And they're made with real onions. And they're quite tasty to boot. Yeah. And I'm going to put some of that in there. A good sprinkle. Not all of it, because we want it for the topping. I just heard my oven reach temperature. I'm going to give this a stir. Then I'm going to check on that pasta. We want the pasta to be al dente because this is going to go in the oven. And it is going to cook for 40 minutes. So we want to make sure that we haven't overcooked the spaghetti. There we go. Now, you can see why I needed to start off with a big bowl, because this makes a lot. That's why if you're just, a couple at home, let me get that spatula back. If you're just a couple at home, you won't need to make this big a batch. So there's 3 of us here to eat this, and then we'll make containers for the road. So I am going to grab some tongs, because I haven't quite dirtied every dish in my house yet today, but I think this will go a little easier. You want to mix it thoroughly through. And if you're like me and you dump all of the past water out, which I should have reserved some back because this is quite thick, and I don't want it to be that thick, then I'm going to have to add hot water to the dish. Or if you had chicken stock, you could add some hot chicken stock to the dish. I think I'm getting it mixed pretty well, but in my opinion it's too thick. So I'm going to loosen that up a little. And you don't need an awful lot. That's a little better. Right off the hop, I can tell that. Okay. Now, just a little bit more. About a half a cup is what you would need of reserved pasta water for this dish. I really think you need that. All right, I'm feeling good about that. Now I've got everything covered with muck. I'm going to grab the big pan, but I'm first going to wash my hands. Just sprayed this pan. I don't think you need to, but I want the easiest possible cleanup. Just trying to find a clean spot on the outside of this bowl to pick it up. In it goes. Goodness, folks, it smells really good. With just such a few ingredients, you can come up with something that's quite tasty. It is a little different from your normal quick bake. I'm going to spread this out. It will fill this pan completely full. And takes a minute or two. Now, when we take it out of the oven, we're going to cut it into squares to serve it. So you want it to be pressed down fairly good. You don't want to squish it into the pan, but press it down pretty good so that when you cut it and you bring it out of the pan, the square should stick together. Okay. Now, I'm going to add the rest of this cheese to the top. And that's in total about 3 cups of cheese. And then I'm going to cover the top with the fried onions, because that adds a crunchy element to it. Now you can serve this with a nice side salad. And there you go. This is going to go into the oven for 40 minutes or until you notice that it's getting bubbly towards the center, because everything's already cooked. You're just heating it all together. So, folks, I'm going to pop this in the oven, and I'll be back to show it to you when it's finished. I'll bring you back. And that gives me time to get rid of my mess, and I'll see you shortly. Oh my gosh, this really smells delicious. You can really smell the French fried onions on the top of it for sure. It's very hot. I've just removed it from the oven, so I don't expect that it will cut into nice squares at this point. But I am going to give it a cut anyway. I just need a flipper. Now, oh yeah, I can tell you right away, this is not going to come out pretty because it's very soft. You definitely need to leave it longer than I have just left it here. But I wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like. Now I'm not so very sure how I'm going to get this out of the pan and keep it together. There you go, folks. Just going to turn it around here. There. That's what's for dinner tonight at our house. We're going to have this fantastic Monterey chicken spaghetti bake, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as we do. And if you give this recipe a try and you like it, please come back and like the video, leave a comment. I'm always happy to hear from all of you. And I look forward to talking to you really soon on the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.